So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another eFootball 2022 video today. Where we're going to be discussing defending and controls, because I wanted to touch upon those 2 points because the control scheme this year has been, revamped, right? There's new buttons and new controls to learn. And honestly, I don't feel like the default control scheme is the best. And we'll talk about that. And then I've got a couple of videos I want to go through. And I want to show you ways to not defend, a couple of red cards, some nice goals that I've scored as well. So yeah, that's kind of the game plan. Hope you guys did enjoy the Master League series that we got back to on Sunday. I will try and get more going this week. But I do have to head to the office to ship off a few things. So yeah, it might be a little bit limited, but we'll get back to it, folks. And honestly, I really enjoyed Saturday's stream, so that is something I'm hoping to do weekly. Sit down. It's just nicer on a Saturday morning around 10:30 to sit down for 4 or 5 hours, and then at least that way, we've got the rest of the day to do whatever we do. So, anyway, without further ado, let's dive into this. And first of all, I wanted to talk about the control scheme. All right, and I know Spoonie put one out as well, and he's got his way, but I want to put one out as well and mention a few things too. So, without further ado, let's dive into this. All right, folks, so let's talk about the control itself, right? The actual controller. What am I doing to change things? Right, well, the first thing is, when it comes to, attacking, there's not really any changes, right? It's default. It's default, folks. So you've got special controls as R1, L1's cursor change, R2's dash, which I highly recommend. I've always used that as dash. It was only back way back in the old PS2 days, I think, with Pro Evo, that I used R1 as sprint. But ever since FIFA changed over, I've kind of changed over just because it feels more natural. With racing games, you use R2 to accelerate, and it's kind of the same principle with football. You use it to sprint, but it's up to you. Then you've got L2 as shield, which I think works well. Then through pass, shoot as square, lofted pass as circle, and then low pass as X. I actually think I saw Spoonie using circle with shoot. I was like, ooh, Spoonie using the FIFA controls. Uh-oh. But no, I've always used square as shoot. Even when I play FIFA, always switch back to the alternate controls. So there's the attacking, right? It's very simple and it's pretty much the same. Now, when it comes to defending, and by the way, the player movement is obviously the left stick, so you don't really need to see that. When it comes to defending, this is what I personally, for myself, have decided to do, and I think it's working out better. I'm just defending better now than what I was playing on the standard. So, shoulder charge now is R1. That's a big change from me. So instead of using the call for pressure, which I've now put back to square, the reason being is in PES 21, PES 20, 19, etc., square was always the button you would use to initiate that player to come in to get the ball. So it's just muscle memory, and for me, I'm already programmed that way. So I know that when I press square, there's always going to be a player coming in trying to get the ball. Now, the reason I've switched to R1 for shoulder charge is because of Super Cancel, folks. If you don't know what Super Cancel is, it is an exceptional part of the game. You will always need to learn how to use this because it helps just by an absolute mile. The way you use Super Cancel is you press R1 and R2 together, and this will pretty much enable you to do things that you normally can't. So cancelling shots, cancelling crosses, maybe you've pressed the bar way too hard, quickly press R2 and R1 together and it stops them from doing that. You can also use it while you're running around. So if you want to cut a player off, instead of just using R2, which might just get that player to go straight towards the player, you can use R2 and R1 to instead make the player make the run around the side of him or cut him off at an angle. I'll show you kind of examples, or I'll try to show you some examples, but ideally, folks, you have to be able to use Super Cancel. And if you leave this as R1, and you leave this as call for pressure as R1, when you're trying to super cancel, all you're going to be doing is pulling a player out of position because he's going to think you're asking him to pressure. Well, you don't want that to happen. So that's what I've changed. That's pretty much the only two buttons. Square for call for pressure and R1 for shoulder barge. Now, you've got to remember that R1 is there, but I don't know. I've always had a thing about even playing FIFA where I like to switch my controls to make R1 more of a button where you kind of shove a player, because I just feel like pushing a button down like this, kind of like you're taking a photo, it just feels like you're more giving them a barge. I don't know. There's something weird about me, but I kind of like it. I don't know. Maybe I don't. But anyway, there is my defensive side, right? Simple as that. Those are the two big changes I would highly recommend, but of course it's up to you. You can play whatever's comfortable for you. And matchup is still L2. I would say that still is the best button for using as matchup. Press is kind of pointless. I rarely use it. Then you've got slide tackle as circle, and then call to press as the square, as we know, and then the keeper coming off the line. So there's my long explanation, but that is pretty much how that works, folks. Now, when it comes to advanced settings, this is what I use. I like to use semi-assist. I don't like assisted because I like to be able to change my players on the defensive side at my own free will. Okay, so if I don't want the AI to keep changing all the time, put it to semi-assist. If you want the game to do more things for you, put it on assisted. Otherwise, once again, I recommend you going for semi-assist. I like to use player name. These are all personal preference. And then player oriented when it comes to the manual change, when you're flicking between the analog stick, etc. I'm playing on pass level 3, which is pretty much default. I tried 2 out, but honestly, you know, I played manual all last year on PES, so yeah, I like to have a little bit more freedom. So you've got the level 3 there, and then you've got the shoulder charge, which is what I use for the tackle type, because I honestly don't think the other tackle button does a whole lot. Then you've got the shot type on basic, turn off the directional guide, turn off the next player indicator, or you could turn that on if you want. It doesn't really matter. In fact, I think I might have that on PC. And then I turn off the target guide, and I use easy feints because they're just easier to pull off. And, you know, I'm not a master at doing skills, so this is just the best way. And that's pretty much it, folks. That's my controller settings. So try them. If you don't want to try them, then fine. Just wasted my time. No, not really. Try what you want, folks. It doesn't matter. Right, now we're going to go and look at some gameplay. I'll leave timestamps so you guys can skip through this if you're bored of it. But now let's go over and have a look at some funny gameplay clips. Yes, because some of them are humorous and some of them are quite funny. Let's have a look. Let's do it. All right, folks, so we're going to go through a few clips, right? I've named this one The Switch and Finish. That's right. So let's go through this. I'm obviously playing as Manchester United. Did pick up Locatelli, by the way, on the PlayStation 5. So this is the big switch from Kimpembe. Absolutely love the stunning cross. Lovely touch from Lucas Moura. And then this is just how you work it forward, folks. You take your time, you know, a little bit of space here, a beautiful pass through, and then wallop. I thought that was a decent goal because we've just worked that from the back to front with just one whopping switch from Kimpembe that has now just completely pulled out all his players out of position. Now he's trying to get back. Lucas Moura picks it up, plays it inside. Aubameyang says, here you go, son, have it back. Perfectly timed pass and a simple finish. So there's just a little example of what can happen with a nice quick break. Lovely jubbly. Right, now we're going to have a look at this for a goal, folks. This was some solo brilliance from Lucas Moura. Watch this, okay? He picks the ball up here, or should I say I pick it up. Now, this is what I'm talking about when people can't defend. Watch this. He keeps going, right here. Watch this roundabout. See you later, right? Dived in, lost it. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to keep on going here. And then watch this. Quick feint, boom, see you later. And then it was an interesting finish on his backside, but this is why I'm also enjoying this game online, because when people can't defend and people are trying to defend like PES 21, it doesn't work. It just doesn't. People can now dribble past you like this quick move. See you later. He's gone. Now that's Vieira on the floor, by the way. Vieira tries to get back and then we do him again. See you later, because he tried just sticking a foot in. It doesn't work, folks. You've got to be so much more patient now when you're defending than just doing stuff willy-nilly. Doesn't work. Right, now we're going to move on. This is a bit of a Camavinga run for you. Here we go. So Wagner played it through the middle. Here we go. Now watch this. Ready? Once again, it's all about the quick gives and goes, right? I like this little thing here. Watch this. Ready? Skips past him, jumps over the player, and then goes for a pile driver. Goalie. You know, I've seen some of them go in, by the way, when you put a stunning shot and the goalie gets a little bit of a hand onto it. Sometimes, if the goalie's pants, it will end up in the back of the net. But once again, it's just the simple things, you know, the 1-2s, and then trying to read the players, ultimately. What are they going to do? Are they going to dive in? Are they not going to dive in? And then when you get a bit of space, you have a shot. I thought that was just a good example there of showing Camavinga. We've got a red card for you guys to take a look at. Have a look at this from Mr. Gay himself. Look at that. Ooh, yes, the referee comes across. Quick bit of trickery there. Red card. So red cards this year, folks, are actually a lot easier to get. Here's another one. This is another red card for you, right? Picked it up with Benzema. This was the Madrid versus Madrid Spanish Cup event. And there it is. Went in for the challenge. Militao gets sent off for a shocking challenge. You didn't want to see it. But let's have another look at it, because that's the beautiful thing about replays. Here it is. Is this the red card? I mean, it's reckless. And 100%, if you're just going to fly in on someone, not get anywhere near the ball, then yes, you should be punished. And rightly so. Right, let's move on. Right, this was a bad back pass. This, folks, this is a problem. This is a bit of a problem that I'm seeing with the goalies, and I don't like it because they're not reacting quick enough to what you're asking them to do, right? Maybe this is my own fault because, yes, I was playing on level 3 pass assist. If I was playing on 2, I don't think this would have happened, but just have a watch of what happens here. I passed the ball back to the goalie. Maybe I didn't put enough power on that. If you look at the power bar, I probably should have put more. But level 3 is still going to help you out with a little bit of power assist. Anyway, he just passes it to no one. And then the goalie, Oliver Kahn, because he'd already committed to this, if you look at it, right? Look, he starts coming out right here. He could have just kept going and probably got to the ball, but he decided to back up. And then by the time I realized what was going on, it was a free goal. I've had this happen a few times, and it's annoying as hell. But you know what, folks? That's football, isn't it? You got to kind of deal with it. Once again, we'll have another look at it, because I don't know if it's happened to you guys, but maybe that's just my own fault. I didn't put enough power on it. But it was the player switching, and just it didn't switch to anyone. And then you can see my play. If you watch Kimpembe, watch him. Look, he just buggers off because I'm trying to control the goalie, and oh, it's a disaster. So I wanted to put that in there. Here's another one. Don't do this. Terrible defending from my standpoint. It was another one of those annoyances, though, where the game sometimes isn't as responsive. And when that happens, watch what happens. I got caught with the pants down. The referee's not going to give the foul, and it was a simple tap-in for him. I shouldn't have done it. What should I have done in this position? Well, when I pick the ball up here, now just pass it. I should have pressed pass right now, put that into the space, and we're away again. I took another touch right there. And that's what will happen on this game if you don't do quick, simple passing. He won the ball. It's not a foul. There's nothing wrong with it. So I gave away a silly goal. I've done that a few times. Pathetic. Another video here, bit of Muller patience for you. So this was a corner that didn't work out too well. But then we started high pressing, and this is what I'm going to talk about a little bit of defending afterwards. But we got the ball here with Memphis. Now we found Thomas Muller, and we give it back to him, and then watch what happens here. Patience. Ready? Boom. See you later. Take your time, and boom. This is what you can do, folks. And even players like Thomas Muller, who's not the best dribbler in the world, but when you have a bit of patience with these players, you can do a lot, depending on who you're up against. You know, this guy diving in too much. Didn't need to do it. There it is. Started sliding. He's pulling this player out of position. Now he commits to this guy. And he probably thinks, I'm going to go this way. No, I'm not. I cut back, so he's now out of position. He pulls this guy in with the old teammate press, which isn't the best. Teammate press is not great because they don't make the challenge for you. So even because he brings him in, right, he tried a challenge, see you later, and then you just line up the finish, bottom corner. Thank you very much. This was a bit of defending for you guys, right? So this is an Alaba block, I'm going to call this. So he gets the throw. I don't know what Bale's doing there, playing golf. Not doing a whole lot. So he starts again with Alaba, swings it round to Militao. Just watch my defending and how I'm trying to keep the shape here, right? Now, that's a bad move right there. Voice is gone. Don't dive in, okay? Because you know as soon as he plays that ball there, this player Hazard's off. I should have just pulled back with Carvajal. Doesn't matter. I'm out of position. But what do we do with Alaba here? This is where Super Cancel comes into play, because I will be using Super Cancel now to pretty much cut off the angle. Now, because this game takes a little bit more time to defend and slow down with players. You have to start realizing this. You can't just press tackle and expect the game to do the business for you. So I knew at that point, as you can see here, I messed up. I was going to go and challenge him. Alaba takes a few stuttered steps. Now he's also nearly got half a yard ahead of me. But I carried on going, and just as he comes forward, watch, L2, bang, right there. And I was able to cut off the cross and any problems that were happening. So it just goes to show you that even if you get it wrong, if you've got a player like Alaba who is a little bit more nimble, right now, just cut out that. Don't even go to the ball. Cut out the angle. Because what he's going to do here is he's going to have to whip this in. He's got no other choice. But just as we come across, bang, L2 goes out for a corner, and we saved ourselves a goal. So I thought that was a decent example. Here we've got a nice finish from Gareth Bale, an absolute belter. So once again, watch me high pressing now, starting to learn the controls a little bit more. And starting to try and read some of the players. There's a bit of team press, picks the ball up. We start feeding it out wide to Vinicius. Starts again with Vasquez, inside to Modric. Here is Camavinga. Take your time. Camavinga's a really good player, highly recommended. He's got really good stats. Now watch this from Bale. Just, once again, I love this dribbling in this game because you can fool so many players because people can't defend. Watch Militao here. All over the place, and then bang, in off the post. Wonderful finish. But once again, he didn't need to do this. Like, I have the ball with Bale. All he has to do is hold this line. Just hold the line with L2, and if he takes a shot, maybe you'll have a chance to block it. He literally tries to bring in a few players here, makes a nice little gap right here, a quick turn, opens up a few yards of space, and by the time he's changed to Vasquez or whoever that is, you know, Bale's already celebrating with the old golf clubs. We've got covering angles. So this was, I don't know, we'll find out. The start of the second half. No, I think I just scored. So I picked the ball up with Muller. Down the line to Aubameyang. I don't think anything happened here, but this was more showing you guys the shoulder barge and trying to keep the ball. And as you can see with Muller here, things are ricocheting. But I'm just trying to cut off the angles. Once again, using L2 to stick into a foot. A little turn past the defender, and then it went out for a corner. But once again, it's just like right here, right? This is me using R1. So I'm pressing R2 and R1 to try and keep him away from me. Comes back to Muller, gets a little bit fortunate there. Pressed L2 again, won the challenge. Then, once again, you can skip past people because they want to use teammate press, but then it does go out of play. So I just thought that was a good example of showing like how fluid this game is now. It is very fluid. There is a lot of positives to take from this game that I've been enjoying. Right, here is defense to attack. So he picks the ball up. What do you got? How long is this clip? About a minute long. Right, once again, watch the defending, okay? So he picks the ball up with the keeper. Watch Camavinga. What do we do here? L2. Bang. Stick a foot in the way of it. Comes back out wide. Tried to do an L2 again there. Now, I'm holding the shape, right? I'm holding the line. If you're going to defend with any players, hold the line. If you start pulling Alaba through here, you're going to have major problems. So I kept backing away, as you can see. I'm not even controlling these defenders at this point. We're focusing on Modric. Comes back across. Now he finds Toni Kroos. Now Modric is going to try and cover it. He plays it square. And now I can start doing a bit of teammate press. Still trying to hold the shape. Bam. Now we win it back. Job done. Now we can start bringing the counter. Here is Carvajal. We're going to square this ball into Mr. Benzema. He's going to find Modric. Once again, every single time, folks, you find a player who's got good feet, you can just do this. Ready? See you later. Opens up some space. Still going because this guy can't defend. Pokes it through to Benzema, and I tried a cheeky little lob. Didn't quite work out. But that just goes to show you from back to front, it's very possible, folks. You just got to be very, very patient. Another example, forward momentum, I like to call this one. So we work the ball forward here. Militao to Toni Kroos. Modric, you can see he's high pressing. He's trying to use the teammate press. Benzema flicks it on. I like this clip purely because of the way things flow. That's why I like this, because watch Camavinga here. Gets a foot in, wins it, and keeps going. Doesn't stop. Keeps going. Little fake. That was a super cancel for you. And then I powered this up way too much. I've done that a few times and ballooned it over the bar. But that was more to just to show you guys how even a player like Camavinga, wins it, carries on going. There's no stop, start, stop, start. It's very fluid, and it just, you know, it's more natural, isn't it, than PES 21, etc. Yeah, the finish was pants. Right, now this is an example of some of the worst defending ever. Okay, number one, look at the score. I am winning 2-1. He's got a red card, for instance. Not for instance, for a start, so I shouldn't be conceding. You'll just watch the clip. Numerous errors in this, right? Benzema wins it back, right? Good defending there. I don't know what I was thinking here with Modric. I do this twice. This is a terrible pass. I wasn't aiming for him, by the way. I was aiming down here. If you can see on the radar, there is there's a black dot. I wanted to play it through. It was a terrible ball. So gave that one away. And then just as I win it back with Modric, once again, using L2, look what I do again. What is that? And then watch what happens. Plays it square. And he scores. And he got a point out of this. Instead of me just getting 3 points. That annoyed me. Whoa, you wouldn't believe. Oh, you wouldn't believe how much it annoyed me, folks. Terrible thing to do here. All I should be doing, well, if you go back to the first point with Modric, yeah, I did want to play that through, but I could have also started again, or I could have just played it back to the defender. You know, you've got to play the percentages, and I didn't. So that was the terrible first pass. Modric does really well to get back. And then right here, I mean, what are you doing? Just, once again, start again with the goalie. You've got a few seconds to spare. Playing this is the worst pass ever. So I wanted to put that in there because it's a prime example of how not to defend. And yes, it can happen. Shocking. And then there was another goal here. Conceded from kickoff. Yes, that's right. So watch this. We pick the ball up, right? Gareth Bale picks the ball down the right-hand side. This is another one of those dribbling times where, what do you do with it? Watch, ready? What do you do? Boom, skip past him. The guy's all over the place defensively, and it was a simple goal. However, it's not over there, folks, because watch what happens. 2 seconds later, Toni Kroos, Casemiro. I'm just trying to hold Tony right now. Then Modric. You see, I'm not diving in. I'm not one of these players that like to dive in. Doesn't suit my style. I got really unfortunate with that ricochet. It came back to Modric. And then, honestly, I don't know what Courtois was doing in goal, but I have conceded a lot of goals straight from kickoff. So that momentum shift is still in this game. It's still there. They call it scripting, as we know. But it's still there, and it still exists. It was unlucky with this little bit here from Kroos because, you know, that could have gone anywhere. And unfortunately, the player switching there really needs to be better, right? Because when this comes off Tony, Militao, or whoever this is, Alaba, is closer to the ball. If the game had a brain, it would just switch to Alaba. It doesn't. Alaba just backs off like an idiot. Comes back to Benzema. He flicks it on. Modric turns, lays it square, and then, yeah, you know, back of the net. So it can happen, folks. And there we have it. So there we go. That's all. I think that's all the clips that I wanted to show you guys. And just kind of touch upon defending and dribbling and the ways that you can score and some of the problems that I've seen. But overall, folks, I really have been enjoying eFootball. And I think keep saying it, there's big potential here. And we'll see how this game pans out over the next few months with the new updates. As long as they keep the game up to date with new content and they keep upping the gameplay and fixing some of these bugs, then I think, you know, we've got a good solid year ahead of us. But it's ultimately up to Konami and what they can give us. But you let me know your thoughts below. Let me know about the controls. If you change them, let me know in the comments because I'm always intrigued. But I really like that control scheme that I showed you. Give it a bash, try it out, and let me know. But anyway, we'll be back shortly. Till next time, subscribe for more and take care.